Welcome. This time I want to talk about memoization. Memoization is kind of like caching values for a function. And to be able to memorize a function, it have to be pure. That is, for the same inputs, it should always give the same output. And it should also be a bit of a slow method, so it's worth caching the values. A typical function that is worth memoizing is the Fibonacci function. Fibonacci returns 1 if it's given a 0 or a 1. Otherwise, it gives the Fibonacci value of the given value minus 1 plus the Fibonacci value of the given value minus 2. And if we run this function for the value of 45, it will calculate the 45th Fibonacci number, and it takes 4.5 seconds in this case. So how can we cache this value? Let's take our Fibonacci function, duplicate it, and name it version 2. And it will do the same thing as version 1, but we will introduce a cache, and the cache is just a mutable hash map. And inside our function we will use our cache and get the value from it if it's in there. Otherwise, we will put in a value for the value of n, and we will use our old code as a lambda value. So if the value is in the cache, we will just get it. Otherwise, we will calculate the Fibonacci and put it into the cache. And we can run this as the version 2. The version 1 still takes 4.5 seconds, but the new version takes no time at all, almost 0 milliseconds. But since we are in a functional language, we want to generalize the solution so we can reuse it for other functions later. So let's create our version 3. Here we have our version 3. It have a general function for memoizing a function that take one input value and gives one output value. And we create a value that is a memoized Fibonacci function that just calls this memoize function with our Fibonacci code as a lambda, and it calls a function that just uses the memoized value. And let's run this as well. Original 4.5 seconds, and the one with the cache 0 milliseconds, and the memoized one also 0 milliseconds. So that's how we can create a memoization in Kotlin. And if we have a function with more input parameters, of course we can also memoize those by adding more input values and setting the input values as a pair or triple or something similar. Thank you for listening.